Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, yes, I will go over practice problems in class to prepare you for your quiz, but your quiz is going to be over section 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. Right? The first question is 7 questions. I'm going to give you a quadratic, and I'm going to say, find the domain, find the range, find the x and y intercepts, find the max and min, find the axis of symmetry, find the vertex. Then the next set of questions is 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to give you a polynomial and say, tell me the end behaviors, find the zeros, and state the multiplicity. That's what we did yesterday. The next question is going to say, use long division to divide the polynomials. And the next question will say, using the remainder theorem. So today we're going to go over long division of polynomials and synthetic division. In I period, we were going through this and everybody was like, oh, I remember this from last year. So this should be a reminder. It may not have been the easiest thing for you to do, but it should be a reminder. So let's talk about long division from 3rd grade. All right. 3 into 157. Okay. Does 3, look, first term into first. Does 3 go into 1? No. So I say, okay, 3 goes into 15. How many times does 3 go into 15? 5. So I put the 5 right up here above the 5, correct? All right. So then the next step would be to do what? Write 15. Where'd you get 15 from? You're right. Because you multiply, right? We're going to multiply here. 5 times 3 is 15. Then what do I do with those two numbers? I subtract. And then I do what with 7? I bring it down. And then we do the whole process all over again, right? 3 goes into 7. How many times? 2 times. What do I do with the 2 and the 3? I'm going to multiply 2 times 3 to give me 6. I subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Do I have anything else to bring down? No. Okay, we're not going to use decimals. What is 1 called? It's our remainder. I have 1 left over. So I could say I have 52 with 1. And what could I put 1 over? I could put it over 3. You put it over what you divided by. So my answer is 52 and a third, correct? We are going to do the exact same thing right now, but we're just going to do it with letters. It's the exact same process. First term into first term. You write it down. You multiply, you subtract, you bring down. Same thing, okay? So let's look at this. Tonight on your homework or any of the problems, it doesn't matter what the directions say. I just want you guys to practice long division. So it says divide. Express the result in 2 forms of the division algorithm. Don't worry about that. I just want to know what the answer is. So I have 6x squared minus 26x plus 12 divided by x minus 4. So watch. X minus 4 goes on the outside, right? On my inside is 6x squared minus 26x plus 12. Now, before we start dividing, we have to do 2 things. We have to first make sure that your polynomial is written in standard form. Is it? 6x squared minus 26x plus 12. Okay, good. Then we have to make sure that there's no gaps or spaces. What I mean by that is if I had a polynomial that was like x cubed minus 4x plus 3. Do I have a gap? Do I have an exponent that is not represented? X squared, right? So I would have to rewrite this as x cubed plus or minus, it doesn't matter, 0x squared minus 4x plus 3. You have to have a placeholder, just like you did in normal long division. You have to have a placeholder. It can be plus or minus the 0. It doesn't matter. But you have to have the placeholders. Everybody understand? Yeah. So when I say to you, are there any gaps? You just have to make sure that starting with the highest exponent, everything below it is represented. So now we're going to do our long division. I'm going to watch. Everybody do this with me. You may not want to do this the entire time, I understand, but to just get into the habit of it. First term into first term. So x times what gives me 6x squared? 6x. Agreed? So I'm going to write my 6x right here above my negative 26x. You want to keep your columns the same. So if I had x squared, I would write it over the x squared. Since I have x to the first, I write it over x to the first. But we're just trying to keep ourselves organized. So now our next step would be to multiply, right? Well, before we do that, this is very, very important. You guys need to get your subtraction set up, and I'll explain to you why in a second. But just get your subtraction set up. Put your parentheses and that minus sign. So now when I multiply, guys, what is 6x times x? 6x squared, good. What is 6x times negative 4? Negative 24x. Now, guys, we are subtracting polynomials. What do you have to do with that minus sign before you can subtract? You have to distribute it. At this step, you cannot say negative 26 and negative 24 because it's minus a negative. What you do at this step is you have to change all the signs. We're going to change, change, change every single time. Now you can combine. What's negative 26 plus 24x? Negative 2x, right? What happens with positive 6x squared and negative 6x squared? It cancels out. And then what do I do with the plus 12? I bring it down. And we're going to start the whole process all over again. We're going to say, okay, first term, x into negative 2x. So over here, I'm going to say x times what gives me negative 2x? Negative 2. Agreed? So I'm going to write my negative 2 right up here above my 12. Now, before I do my multiplication, I'm going to get my subtraction all set up so I don't forget to distribute. So now we're going to multiply. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Good. Negative 2 times negative 4 gives me positive 8. Now, before I combine, what do I have to do with all my signs? Change, change, change. What is 12 minus 8? 4. What's negative 2x and a positive 2x? Cancels out. Do I have anything left to bring down? No. So what's 4? My remainder. Is it a positive 4 or negative 4? Positive. So I'm going to put a plus sign. And it's 4 over, well, what did we divide by? X minus 4. Perfect. And there is your answer. All right, let's get our division set up. This says x cubed minus 2x squared plus 6x minus 6 divided by x minus 3. So what goes on the outside? Okay, I'm going to write my x minus 3 on the outside. And on the inside, I'm going to rewrite my polynomial. X cubed minus 2x squared plus 6x minus 6. Am I written in standard form? Yes. Do I have any gaps or anything? Nope, I have an x cubed, I have an x squared, I have an x to the first, and I have a constant. So let's get our long division going. First term into first term. X times what, guys, gives me x cubed? X squared, right? So I'm going to put this x squared on top of the other x squares. Just keep yourself organized. Before you multiply, get your subtraction set up. Everybody see that? Okay, so x squared times x gives me x cubed, right? X squared times negative 3 gives me negative 3x. Before I can combine, ladies and gents, what do I need to do? I have to distribute. I got to change all of the signs. So this becomes plus, this becomes minus, this becomes plus. Now I can combine. Negative 2x squared, positive 3x squared is just x squared. What happens with my x cubes? They cancel out. And what do I do with the plus 6x? I bring it down. And now we do the same thing all over again. First term, x into x squared. X times what gives me x squared? Just an x. It's positive, right? So plus x. Before you do your multiplication, get your subtraction set up. So multiply. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Before we do our subtraction, what do? I got to distribute. So change that, change that, change that. What's 6x plus 3x? 9x. What happens with my x squareds? They cancel each other out. And then what happens with my negative 6? We bring it down. And we do this process again. 6x and 3x is 9x, right? And then I bring down my 6. So now I say first term again into first term. So x times what gives me 9x plus 9. Before you do your multiplication, get your subtraction set up. So 9 times x is 9x, right? 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. And before we subtract, we do what? Distribute that negative. Change all the signs. So change, change, change. What's negative 6 plus 27?
21.
Positive 21, right? What happens to your 9x's? They cancel out. Is there anything left to bring down? No. So what is 21? Your remainder. So it's plus, and I write 21 over, what did we divide by? X minus 3. Good job, guys. Very good. All right, guys, looking at number 3, what do you notice about number 3? Okay, there's gaps. I'm dividing x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 45 by x squared plus 9. So my x squared plus 9 is going to go on the outside, but I need to write it like this. X squared plus 0x plus 9. I have to have a placeholder. If not, then your division is off. So on the inside, I have to have placeholders as well. I have an x to the 4th. Do I have an x to the 3rd? So I'm just going to put plus 0x cubed. Don't put a 1 because it's not 1. There's 0 of them. So I have plus 4x squared. Do I have an x? So I have to put plus 0x and then minus 45. Somebody first period is like, do you have to put plus? You can put minus. I just don't like minus signs. To me, it's easier if it's positive. But we're going to do the same thing. But guys, instead of now, right, these other two that we did, we had x minus 3. We only had 2 terms, right? So we just had 2 numbers in our parentheses. Now we're going to have 3 because we're multiplying by 3. So same thing happens. First term, God bless you, into first term. X squared times what gives me x to the 4th? X squared. So look, I'm going to put my x squared right up here above the other x squared. And before I do my multiplication, I'm going to get my subtraction all set up. So x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. What's x squared times 0x? So it's just 0, right? There's nothing there. And then what's x squared times 9? Plus 9x squared. Everybody with me? Okay, before I subtract, what do I have to do? Distribute. I'm going to change all the signs. So change, change, change. So what's 4x squared minus 9x squared? Negative 5x squared, right? What's 0x cubed minus 0? It's just 0, right? And then what's x to the 4th minus x to the 4th? 0. What am I going to bring down? I'm going to bring down the 0x and what else? The minus 45. Because is there really anything there with the 0x? No. And now we do the same thing, guys. First term, which is x squared, into first term. So x squared times what gives me negative 5x squared? Negative 5. So look, where am I going to put the negative 5? Over the 45. Just to keep myself straight. So I see, okay, I don't have anything missing. I didn't skip anything. So before we do our multiplication, let's get our subtraction set up. So negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. Agreed? What's negative 5 times 0? So I just got a big old 0 there. And then what's negative 5 times 9? Negative 45. Now, before I subtract, what do I have to do? I got to distribute all the, change all the signs. So plus, plus, minus, plus. Okay? What's negative 45 and a positive 45? 0. What's 0x plus 0? Still 0. What's negative 5x squared and a positive 5x squared? 0. What do I have left over here, guys? Nothing. There's no remainder here. So what's my answer?
X squared minus 5.
My answer is x squared minus 5. Perfect. If it goes in nice and easy or evenly and you have 0 as a remainder, that is perfectly fine. That just means it's a factor. We'll talk more about that. We're going to use those terms and stuff after Thanksgiving break. But right now we're just focusing on division. All right, let's look at the next one. How's this one a little different from the ones we just did? It's got a 2. What you're dividing by has a coefficient, but still the process is the same, guys. 2x minus 1 is on the outside. What goes on the inside? 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Am I in standard form? Yep. Do I have any gaps or anything? Nope. So let's go. 2x into 2x squared. 2x times what gives me 2x squared? Just plain old x. I'm going to put it right there above my negative 5x. Get your subtraction ready before you multiply. I know I keep saying the same thing. That's the point. So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. Before I subtract, what do? Change, change, change. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4x. What happens with my 2x squareds? They cancel. And what do I do with 3? Bring it on down. Good. And then, go ahead. You're fine.
You put a plus sign outside of the little...
Yeah, I change every sign.
Oh, it was a negative?
Yeah, it was a negative. So now I'm going to do the same thing again, y'all. First term, 2x into negative 4x. So 2x times what gives me negative 4x? Negative 2. Get your subtraction set up before you multiply. Now we multiply negative 2 times 2x, negative 4x, negative 2 times negative 1, plus 2. And then what do I do with all of my signs? Switch, switch, switch. We're distributing that negative. So 3 minus 2 is 1. What happens with negative 4x, positive 4x? Cancels out. Do I have anything left to bring down? So 1 is my, very good. So I put plus 1 over 2x minus 1. Awesome. Good job, guys. Really good job. If you wanted to rewrite it, you would just say x minus 2 plus 1 over 2x minus 1. Yep, that's fine. All right, let's move along here. Now we're going to talk about synthetic division. Synthetic division is a quick method of dividing polynomials. Do we like quick methods? Yes. We're going to use synthetic division when the term or the coefficient in front of what we're dividing by is 1. And the way that we do this, guys, listen to me. Whatever you're dividing by, you can write this down. You set equal to 0. Then once you get that number, you're going to set it up. You're going to put it over here in a corner. So if I say x minus 3 equals 0, what does x equal? 3. So I'm going to put 3 over here in the corner. And now I have to write out the coefficients of my polynomial. What is the coefficient of x cubed? 2. What is the coefficient of x squared? Negative 7. Good, the sign goes with it. What's the coefficient of x?
1.
No.
Oh, 0.
0. Do you see an x? No. If you don't see an x to the first, an x to the second, something like that, you have to put your placeholder. You've got to put a 0. And then we have our constant. You guys see that? Because this represents the x cubed, this represents the x squared, this represents the x, and this represents the constant. So the way that you synthetically divide is you bring down the first term, you multiply to the corner, and add down. So 2 times 3 is, yep, you guys did this last year. 2 times 3 is 6, and then negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 0 and negative 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. When you add down, you get negative 4. Now, what do you do with this? Okay, so we don't add them. Now think about this. If I was dividing this, right, I have 2x cubed minus 7x squared. It doesn't matter the rest of it. I just want to show you this one part. When I do my first term into my first term, x times what gives me 2x cubed? 2x what? 2x squared. When you write your answer, when you synthetically divide, you guys are always dividing x into something. So your answer is going to start, your answer, the degree is always going to be one less than what you started with. So since I started off with x cubed, my answer starts off with a what? X squared. So this is my x squared, this is my x, this is my constant, this is my remainder. So if you were going to write your resulting polynomial, it would be 2x squared minus x minus 3 minus 4 over what? X minus 3. Same exact answer you would have gotten from long division, you get using synthetic division. Yes, sir. So look, here's the problem we just did. Here's the long division. Quotient and the remainder. Here's our synthetic division. Same exact thing, right? Obviously, we want to do the one on the right. But you have to just be careful. Sometimes we want to go too quickly with this, then we make silly mistakes. So we don't want to do that. So let's practice another one. We just did that first one, so let's do this one. Tell me the process. What do I do first? I have to set this equal to what? Okay. So x minus 3 equals 0. So x equals positive 3. Okay, so we're going to put positive 3 over here in the corner. And then I'm going to write out the coefficients of my variables. What is the coefficient? What number is in front of x squared? In front of x squared. There's a 1. What is the number? What's the coefficient in front of x? Negative 5. Do you see? Look, this is x squared. This is x to the first. If you guys wanted to rewrite it in standard form first, you could. But you have to make sure that you're paying attention. So x to the squared is represented. X to the first is represented. Now what's my constant? 2. Now we can do our synthetic division. Since my problem is starting off with x squared, what is my answer going to start off with? X to the first power. Good. So bring down your 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Negative 5 and 3 is? Negative 2. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. What's 2 and negative 6? Negative 4. So what's your answer here? How do I write it? X minus 2 minus 4 over what we divided by? X minus 3. What do I do? Tell me. Set x minus 2 equal to 0. So x equals what? 2. So over here, I'm going to put 2 in the corner. What are my coefficients? Coefficient of x cubed is 1. Coefficient of x squared? Negative 4. Coefficient of x? 1. And my constant is 6. So think about this. Your answer should start off with what? If I start off with x cubed in my problem, what should my answer start off with? X squared. Good. Always one less. So go down, bring that first term down, and multiply. What's 1 times 2? 2. Negative 4 and 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. 1 and negative 4 gives me negative 3. Negative 3 times 2 is 6 minus 6 is, oh, what does that tell me? There's no remainder. That means x minus 2 is a factor. This divides into it evenly, just like 4 goes into 16. So your answer, this is my x squared, this is my x, this is my constant, my remainder. What's your answer? Perfect. Good job, guys. Now, we're going to do something with this after break. Well, we'll factor that more. We'll find all the zeros and all that. But right now, we're just working on our synthetic division. Okay? Okay. It says find the quotient and the remainder. You guys know we're going to do that in the process. But when you are given a question and it says use the remainder theorem to find, only thing that they care about is the what? The remainder. So when your question gives you a polynomial and it gives you a number to use, the only thing they care about is the remainder. So they're telling you to evaluate, use synthetic division using p is negative 2. Right? They're telling you to what? Put in the corner. So now we write out our coefficients. What's the coefficient of x to the 5th? 3. What's the coefficient of x to the 4th? 5. What's the coefficient of x to the 3rd? Negative 4. What is the coefficient of x squared? 0. There is no x squared. What is the coefficient of x to the first? 7. And then what is your constant? 3. Make sure, guys, you've got to account for your gaps. Because if not, then your numbers are going to be off. So remember, we bring down our first term, which is 3. We multiply to the corner and add down. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And 5 minus 6 is negative 1, right? 5 plus negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. Negative 4 and 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. 7 plus negative 8, or 7 minus 8, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. And 3 plus 2 is 5. Now, when they say use the remainder theorem, what is the only thing that matters? The 5, the remainder. So you would answer this question. This is on your quiz. You would answer this question. You would say P of negative 2. When I evaluate, when I synthetically divide using negative 2, what is my answer? 5. That's how you would answer that question.
We don't need to put it over anything?
Nope. If it was like this first one where it says find the quotient and the remainder, that's where you're doing the whole shebang. But when they say use the remainder theorem, all they're saying is do the synthetic division like you guys know how to do, but the only thing that matters is that 5. That's it. All right, let's do these. Let's do these few. We'll do these ones here. Here you're just proving that this is 0, so when you do the synthetic division, it'll be 0. On here, I was doing the notes this morning, and I forgot a squared there, so put a 2 on the 7. All right, so this first problem right here on the left, f of x equals. What do they want me to use to synthetically divide? What number? Negative 4. So I'm using the remainder theorem to evaluate with this. So now I say, all right, well, what are my coefficients? 3, 4, negative 5, and 7, correct? Do I have any gaps or anything? Did I miss anything? No. Okay, so bring down your first term, multiply to the corner, and add down. So 3 times negative 4, negative 12, and 4 and negative 12 is negative 8. Negative 8, negative 4 is? 32, okay. Negative 5 and 32 is 27, okay. 27 times negative 4, negative 108. What's 7 and negative 108? Negative 101. Now, how do I answer this question? How do you tell me that you understand that you're using the remainder theorem? P of negative 4, perfect, is equal to negative 101. Perfect. If you write out the whole polynomial, you write out 3x squared minus 8x plus 27 minus 101 over x plus 4. I'm not taking that as the answer. You guys have to tell me in the correct form that I used negative 4 in my remainder theorem and I got out the number. My remainder is negative 101. Deal?
For a number like that, you have to do the remainder.
Yes. If it says use the remainder theorem, that's what they want. All right, one more and then we're done. You guys are doing great today. What do I do here? Where do I start? How do I start? 3 goes in the corner. Good. Then I put out 2, negative 7, 5, negative 6. What do we always have to check for, guys? Check if there's anything missing, if there's any gaps. We don't have one, but please, please, please always check that. What are gaps? Like, do you see how I'm starting off? This is the x cubed. This is x squared, this is x, and this is my constant. If I didn't have like an x squared or something, you have to have a 0, like a placeholder. Yeah.
Then you would just skip it.
You'd put a 0.
Yes.
All right, so bring down your 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Then negative 7 and 6 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 5 and negative 3 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 6 and 6 is 0. All right, so your remainder here is 0. That is an acceptable answer. You guys would tell me P of 3. When I evaluate using 3, my remainder is 0. And then you circle it.